What do you hope to do in the 400? And how do we know that you're swimming a good race? Like, what's your plan with your legs, with your tempo, with your turns, your breathing, your pacing? What's your plan?
I have to say that it's classified for now.
Excellent. No secrets to the rivals. Okay.
Yeah, I have to say that information will be classified.
That is perfect. Perfect.
Welcome back to Social Kick. I'm Brian Lundquist. We got Luke Paddington and the ultra versatile, coming off of the World Championships, South African Olympian, NCAA champion on the 500 free, Matthew Sates. Thanks for joining us. How's it going?
Yeah, all good, yeah.
Man, good to see you. So, coming off of Worlds, gosh, I mean, where to start? You've had such an eventful last, 12 to 15 months. Pretty crazy. Why don't we just start with, first the reaction to Worlds before we get back into, kind of your history. So what did you think about how the meet went, and kind of just thoughts on the whole experience?
So for Worlds was a tough one. We did Mare Nostrum for kind of the build-up, and not tapered or anything for that, and it went pretty well. Yeah. I was on faster or better than all my PBs, and I was looking pretty good, I would say. But so then we went to training camp after Mare Nostrum to Turkey for a couple of weeks, and I felt ill. I got like a chest infection, and my body was just wrecked. I was like laying in bed, like just surviving it. And so when it finally came towards, I was still coughing a little bit, but I think I was just so drained. So like after each race, felt like I was going to be my last one. But the races, like, they weren't bad. I was pretty stoked to make the final for the 200 IM and make the semi-final for the 200 free. Mm-hmm. But I'm still really grateful for that. But FINA put on a very, very, very nice event.
That's a bummer when you get sick going into a big meet. It feels like that. The one story that I always remember is James Magnussen. I think this was going into the Olympics after he had gone 47-0 or 47-1, and he got sick like right before a big meet. I maybe get some of the details wrong, but I remember him telling a story that he was out of the water for 9 days and then came back and still lit it up. And that always confused me because like any experience that I've had of being out of the water, I mean, it affects everybody differently, right? And, depends what you're able to do. But were there some things when you were out of the water and were ill that you were trying to do to control the best of the situation? Because, having some illness and then coming back and finaling and still performing at a pretty high level on the world stage is, there's a lot of people that could just say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't go swim at Worlds. So good on you for doing that. But was there anything that how did you approach that situation?
Well, in the back of my head, Commonwealth Games has always been the main focus. Okay. So it wasn't like a fully tapered for Worlds, or we weren't striving to be the fastest at Worlds. So it was more kind of, let's just go and race. It's not going to damage me too much for Commonwealth in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So it wasn't too much of a big deal in that perspective to race or not to race.
Yeah, I thought that's interesting. For most Americans don't realize how important the Commonwealth Games are. I mean, it's above Pan Pacs, it's above Worlds. Based on back home in South Africa, that's what you get recognition for. That's what you get the medals and the awards for. That's what you grew up wanting to be part of. I guess it's because it's like a games village environment, isn't it? And it's all the teams are there, and you truly are representing your country across all disciplines. Is that what you feel?
Yeah, I would represent Commonwealth Games to almost very, very close to Olympics. Mm-hmm. They have this massive village. They have got the dining hall. They got like a games room. They got all of the stuff that Olympics had. Even I think our rooms are actually better in the comp. We got like bigger rooms, and it's especially back home. Like if I was playing Worlds and I got a bronze medal, that would be massive. That would be better than getting a gold medal at Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Because it's more competitive and all of that. But for the country and to get a gold at Commonwealth is way better than getting a bronze at Worlds. Like I'll be on the news if I get a gold, you know.
Wow. Yeah. Do you think? I guess it is fair that Americans don't have the same appreciation for it. Although I'm definitely aware of Commonwealth Games. But I think, the team environment obviously makes it more of a media appeal. Has there been any ruling on the South African coalition? Are you able to go to visit, like watch other events while you're there? Or, there's news of the Aussies unable to go and watch any of their compatriots compete in other events. So is there a plan for South Africa? And if so, like, are you going to go watch some other sports?
I think the swimming is over the whole amount of days. So if we were allowed to, I'm not really sure. They haven't really spoken about that.
Yeah.
But I know the swimming it's all compact to the amount of days that we're here. So I don't think I could get a chance to go anyway.
Well, let's talk about the events. What are you swimming? You swim everything from 100 free to a 400 free to IM fly and stuff. What's your plan, and who are you working with to figure out your plan? What's your plan? What's your lineup?
So I got the 200 free, 400 free, and then the 100 free. But the 100 free is going to be too much of a focus. It's more the 2 free, 4 free, 2 IM, 4 IM. My big focus ones, and then I got the 100 flower, 100 free.
You're entered in all of those?
But the 100 free and the 100 flower are more going to be for the relay.
Right.
Because to make the mixed relay, it will either be Chad and I swimming. So whoever wins the 100 flower will swim the mixed relay, and whoever wins the 100 free will do the relay. So that's more relay based.
So how many total swims do you expect to have throughout the week? Do you know?
Sure. I think it's over 6 days, and I'm swimming one race each session, and then one day there's doubles. So it would be 6 times 2, 12, 14 over 6 days.
Do you feel like I'm curious about the event order for Commonwealths, because there's now you got like a few different event orders. Like you got 8 days, you got 6-day formats. You get NCAAs is 5 days. You got a conference meet at 4 days, kind of 4.5. So is there a particular order that you prefer? Is the 400 free or 200 free kind of your baby, and the long course pool? Is there something that you'd like to get out of the way first? How do you feel about the order at Commonwealths?
Yeah, I would say my main races for this competition, long course, would be the 200 free and the 400 IM. And they're actually together. They're on the same day. So I got the 200 free at the beginning of the heats, and at the end of the heats, I got the 4 IM on the second day.
All right. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
NCAA schedule, actually. I like that schedule.
Yeah.
And you guys have a pretty big team now. I'm now looking at South African roster. It's tight. Your mixed relay is going to be solid, and if your 4x1 is going to be solid. You probably have 4 guys who can do 48s and stuff, no problem, and if not faster. What are you excited for with the relays? Which we don't know the combination yet until you swim it off, right? But what relays are you excited to be part of, thinking that you guys have a chance to do some damage?
Definitely our men's medley relay. Yeah, that's gonna be one of the good ones, because we got a good backstroke, good breaststroke, and good freestyle. So it's all gonna depend how well Adam Peaty's swimming, with his injury and stuff. So that's gonna be a factor, and so it's gonna be between England, Australia, and us, I would say. But then there's also Scotland, Canada. But yeah, it's looking pretty.
No Trinidad in this? No, we don't have a relay. Don't worry. So, but yes.
Oh, I didn't know this about Commonwealth Games, that England and Scotland compete individually at Commonwealth?
Yeah, it is weird.
Interesting. So much for the Team GB garb. Broke it up.
We got split up.
Yeah. Well, man, I feel like we got to backtrack with you, because like I said it at the beginning, I feel like, at least from the outside looking in, we got a chance to see you swim live at NCAAs, but and since you've gone on from there, you had Tokyo, obviously like the lead up to Tokyo, and then you kind of went on a tear with the World Cup series in the fall, and I think really made the world aware of yourself at that point in time, and then entered the NCAA with about as much expectation and anticipation as any sort of mid-year addition that I can think of. And then only swim a couple 500 frees. You even talked about having miscounted, and then come in, and win at NCAAs, which is totally unheard of. And then, since take off from your time in Athens and are off to training as a professional and pursuing success at the international level as you already would have, but putting that at the forefront. So, man, what has it felt like a whirlwind to you?
Yeah, these last couple months have been they almost seemed a bit rushed that I was going through them so quick. But yeah, it has felt like that, especially. I've been traveling for like the last 2 months now overseas. So yeah, it's been a long way from home.
I mean, even back to that, I think like just to the last year of the games and the traveling for meets in the fall, knowing at the time that you were planning to go into the NCAA system, and then making the decision to leave, was all of that planned out? Like, I expect that the decision to leave Athens wasn't planned necessarily, but but like, you obviously had some big changes happening in your life at a very influential time in your life when you are of age to kind of, make the decision to either become a professional or to go, into a college, and then, ultimately decide to go pro. So like, was there, besides just the last like couple months, did you feel like you had a clear plan? Or because it seems to me like you have been faced with several situations that have led you to a decision-making point, and you've had to make some pretty big calls about your life and where you go. So, like that, you're a young person, and it's hard to make those decisions, and hard enough to make them like really in sequential order. Like, it's just been a busy time. Like, so I don't know, I guess like to the major life decisions, do you feel like, has that been difficult? Has it weighed on you? Or do you feel like you've kind of just been able to take it as it comes and find yourself in a good place?
Sometimes I can take it as it comes, and whatever comes, I'll just go with the flow. But most of the time it has been overwhelming almost. So that I have to kind of make the decisions now, and what decision, like I can't go back to NCAAs now.
Right.
I can't go back to college. So yeah, it's been a tough time, but for the terms of planning, there's been no planning kind of. There's been like a base round of what goals I'm going to swim.
Yeah.
But the planning of where I'm going to be or what I'm going to do, it's kind of been by like the last, what we're going to do next week. So like,
let's focus on the present then. What are you doing now? Like, who are you working with now? Who's in your team around you? You mentioned Sunny Trigg. Were you at Gloria working with James? Like, who are you working with now? Who's your support base around you? You got an agency. Who's your team? Who's in Matt Sate's circle?
Yeah, so right now, well, in Budapest, I stayed in Budapest for a couple of days, like 2 weeks longer, and I trained with Herbert Cost and Milak for 2 weeks. I came to England and I went to Loughborough, and I fitted in the Loughborough team for a little bit.
Nice.
And so I'm kind of just popping around different teams.
Yeah.
Right now, but yeah, so I'm just going into everyone else's different teams, kind of. Like I don't really have a home base, I would say, but so I'm gonna keep hopping, I would say, to different teams here and there, and then choose one to pick for the build up to 2024 Olympics.
Okay.
So I'm gonna plan is to get a broad perspective on what everybody is, what's happening, and because my coach, he'll be involved wherever I am. If I'm with him or if I'm with someone else, he'll still be a very big part of it. Because he's also coming with me around, so to see which place is closest to the program I'm doing now, to see which place is most fitable.
So I think it takes quite a level of professionalism for an athlete to be able to enter and train with different programs and have confidence going into big competitions, because I mean, I assume you could look at it like it's an investment in your future year, and your results will kind of just be what they are. But at the same time, you're also starting life as a professional. So, there's some professional side of that, the compensation and the earnings that come from, you doing well and performing well. So what I wonder is I think that it takes quite a mature athlete to be able to enter programs and know what you need to do for you to then still put yourself in a good position to succeed, even though you're trying to get a feel for the program. So like, are you that athlete? Do you pretty well know like kind of what you need and have a handle on that? Or are you the kind of person that really does kind of lean on the coach for guidance?
No, I lean on the coach. I wouldn't know what I'm doing. I know what when he says you have to go hard in this one, then I go hard on that one. So this is my first time doing it. So after, there's only one way to find out, and we'll be in a week. So I'll come back to you or you'll see how I do. But I think this year I've been in 5 different programs.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I think I've done my program. I went up to Pretoria and did another South Africans program for a little bit to get some long course training. I've done the Luxembourg, I've done Georgia, and I've done the Hungary with Milak and Cost.
Do you think that's helped with how versatile you are with all the different distances and strokes that you swim? You think that's helped you just keep broad and maybe injury free? Are you less injured now too, perhaps? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not injured, but I do my shoulder exercises and stuff. So,
yeah.
But to be more versatile, that'll be difficult because especially when I was in Hungary, I did a lot of fly.
Yeah.
I did more iron base in Loughborough. Maybe more free in Pretoria, but it would all. But my coach that is with me makes sure that I get everything that I need to done.
And I bet you're picking up little things from all these people, something from Chad, something from Christoph, something from something, all these little things. And at the same time, you want to whoop them in the pool. Like, I'm sure you just want to, they're not going to beat you, Who's this old guy? I mean, what's your attitude like? Do you I want to learn from you, but I also want to destroy you? Is that what it's like?
Yeah, no, but that's actually been one of the funnest parts because I guess I got to train with Felix in Loughborough. And so I'm training with him. We did lots of sets. We did a set, so it was 3 1s and then 400 pace.
Yeah.
And then in 250s, 200 pace. And we did that 3 times, but with the suits and everything. So, knowing that he's the guy that I am going against, and it's just a good time. You're not stressing about how much you hurt, and you're just seeing how hard you can kind of push it. So it goes by really quick, I would say.
What did you learn from Felix? Because we had him on the show, and my takeaway was he was so precise. He was so he thought about everything of his training and his racing, and he was very, he's Austrian, right? So he's very much precise what it was about and very considered in what he did. What did he learn from somebody like Felix Orbach, who is such a great from the 4 to the 800 in the mile?
Yeah, so when we got there, we saw that he was using like a heart rate monitor that he put under his cap, and then it showed you like the colors, like you go in, I think it's like gray, white, blue, green, red, and you can kind of monitor it like that. So now I've got the heart rate monitor, and see what I'm going and what I'm doing during the set. So on the technical side, I picked up that.
I remember coaching an athlete once, and he was a 200 flyer, and I can say, no, his skin is not purple yet. He can keep going. Like, you used to see like his skin get like purple. He works so hard sometimes. So Oxford.
Yeah. Well, that's how the Urbancheck coaching system works, right? It's based on what color your skin turns.
Yeah.
Where do you see? I'm not familiar with this, Matthew. How do you see the results of the device that's in your cap?
So it's really cool. So I put it in and over my cap, and we've got an iPad that will sit on my lane.
Okay.
And it links straight to the iPad, and the iPad will change colors and change percentages on how hard I'm swimming.
Have you ever thought about taking that iPad and putting it in a waterproof case so it's in the water? Because I mean, since you have a history of not being able to see the counter and counting appropriately.
Yeah. I think for the 500 free, it happened to me. My first 500 free I stopped at 50 early, and I think I got it right at SECs, and then NCAAs. That didn't fire up at 50 early, but yeah, maybe that worked in my favor though.
What's with the international meets where they put the counter outside of the pool? By the way, you can't even see it.
Yeah, luckily I don't do any counting.
Right. Yeah, but still short course. Who was it recently that short course miscounted?
Rapsis.
Yeah, Rapsis.
Again?
Yeah. What's the event that on Friday? So you get your birthday is on Thursday, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So then the next day, as a ripe old 19-year-old, you start swimming. What's the event that you're looking forward to swimming because you just enjoy swimming it? And if it's different to the event that you are you think you might have the most fun swimming, because you know what I mean, like maybe 200 free, you're excited to see where you can go because last time you were healthy you went 145 untapered, so you're excited to see that, but you really enjoy swimming 100 fly because it's fun and you've had fun with it feels good. Like, is there a difference, and what's the events you're excited for?
The race that I'll probably improve most, I would say, would be the 400 free.
Yeah.
And that's first day. So I think my PB for 400 free long course is 3:49.
Yeah.
So it's nowhere near the.
That's not a 406 500 yards, by the way. That's not what's supposed to.
3:37 short course or the 406. Yeah. So I think that race would be the most improved. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I can finally do in long course 400.
Have you had much experience in that? I remember seeing you swim at the 500 and you just hung back and you made your move and you stormed down. I remember you told us you made your move a 50 too soon or too late or something.
Yeah, 50.
So, and you wish you're like, shit, really? You went 4.6? What do you hope to do in the 400? And how do we know that you're swimming a good race? Like, what's your plan with your legs, with your tempo, with your turns, your breathing, your pacing? What's your plan?
I have to say that it's classified for now.
Excellent. No secrets to the rivals. Okay.
Yeah, I have to say that information will be classified.
That is perfect. You will know when I touch the wall, Luke. Okay, good.
Touche. Matthew, are you a person who sets goal times? I mean, to the points about the 3:37 and the 4:06, like we're looking at that going, I don't know, what do you think that is long course? Like I thought it was maybe like 3:41 or kind of in that range. But do you set goal times, and do you think about like what you can do in the long course pool, or do you just enter long course competitions or any competition kind of unconstrained?
A little bit of both, I would say. Sometimes I set goal time, sometimes I don't. Like for Olympics or the qualifying times, that was like a goal time. But yeah, like leading into the World Cups, my 200 iron time was like a 1:55, and my 200 free time was 1:42.9. So if I was realistically looking at goal times, I'm going to put like a 1:53, 1:52. Like I don't want to short myself almost, or to limit myself on putting the time down. That maybe I could go faster if that's.
Yeah.
But for the Commonwealth Games, I actually put a time down for the long course 200 free. So, but that's the only race that I've got a time down for.
How did you end up settling on? I mean, I think just watching some of your races, you're kind of notorious for this. I'd call it back halving. I mean, I think you even split or maybe even negative split at 500 at NCAAs.
Negative.
Yeah. How did you settle on that being the most effective race strategy for you?
It's because I'm trying to win the race, I'd say.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. So what do you mean by that? Like, because I don't know. I like conventional wisdom is that even for somebody who back halves, that you've got to take it out a little bit harder, even if you have a really tight, difference between front half and back half. And I can see how that's different from somebody like, I don't know, Kieran, or, in the 200 free long course, you've got the Korean kid who goes out fast. But like you seem to be kind of on the extreme end of confidence in the back half. So like, I guess that seems to me like it happens intentionally. And also it must take a lot of confidence too, because you're holding back, watching the rest of the field or a lot of the field creep away. And you have to know, if I'm going to win this race, I can catch them. So like, has that been something that you've developed over time? Was there a moment in time where you tried it once and went, oh yeah, like this works really well for me and the way my body works in a race, and this is something that I need to stick to?
Well, my coach is Wayne Ridden, and he's always told me to, like, I've got a faster back end than anybody there. So I guess that's kind of being played into my swimming. But yeah, for the 500 free at NCAAs, it was more. I just wanted to win it bad, and I knew my back half was way faster than, like, I can gain quick, and I knew I gain quick. So I think Kieran went out really hard. He went out really hard, and he was like a body length ahead at 100 meters or 100 yards. But as soon as he was a body length at 100 yards, I knew I didn't have to worry about him anymore. Because I knew I was going to pass him anyway. The people that I was worried about was the people that was with me, I would say, because I knew they save enough energy to, like Jake was next to me also, and he also did a good race. He did a really good on that one. But yeah, I just know. I know how hard I can finish, and especially compared to the other guys. And short course yards, it's just so much quicker with the turns. Yeah. So I know I can generate really quick speed. So yeah, I just knew that if I max the last 150, 200, that I would pass anybody that's 3. It doesn't matter how many body lengths are ahead of me, because the more body lengths that are ahead of me, the quicker I'm going to catch him, because the harder they're going to die,
Right. Does that change based on the event, based on the course, like long course events, or distance, the way that you'll approach it?
Yeah, very much so. Especially NCAAs, I just wanted to win, so I didn't really worry about what time I was going. So I didn't have to go out hard. I just had to wait for the last 150 to overtake and get a lead. So it wasn't really, let's see. My mind wasn't saying, what's the fastest time you think I can go? My mind was saying, let's win the race.
Yeah.
Knowing
what you went. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I said I was swimming to win the race. I wanted to be 100% sure I was going to win, instead of swimming to see how fast I can go.
Well, knowing that you did go 4:06, what do you think that you could have gone had you been swimming it to go the best time you could go?
I think if I stayed, obviously there's no point telling bets. I think if I did like maybe another year or another two, I definitely would have broken the. Well, I can't say, but I think I could have gone. I think I could have dropped a couple, maybe 1 or 2 seconds.
You can say it. We won't tell anybody. It's the statement's classified.
I'd say maybe 4-4. I could have done.
I believe it. Yeah. So, do you try to enter a lot of races thinking about getting your hand on the wall, or what's a scenario where you do actually like approach the race with the race strategy to go as fast as you can, focused on time and not placement? And how does that change the way that you approach the pacing of the race?
Yeah, well, it depends what race it is, kind of, what events it is. But like I'd say like the FINA World Cup Series was kind of to see how fast I can go because there were FINA points on the line. Mm-hmm. And then if it's placing or time, I'd say, but yeah, I think when you're going for up against what field I'm also going up against, I'd say. Like if they're going to, especially, but long course is very different. I don't think I can have that back in speed long course. I don't think I can catch that fast long course because of the turns. There's not much turns.
I was going to they call me the historian because I'm this old man apparently. This was a race that I saw live. So and I bought the poster of it. So this is the Sydney 2000 Games 400 freestyle last lap. And that Thorpe 3 seconds ahead of the field, setting the world record. He went 350. So he went 340, right? He won the race by 3 seconds. He led start to finish. He was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? Start to finish. Right. And I bought the poster. This is the original poster from Sydney, which I haven't opened yet, but I bought the poster. I thought it was amazing. Now we know he got broken 9 years later with the suit. Okay. And Beedman came back. He charged on the last 50. And I was like, okay, it's a suit, we get it, why we charge back. But now more people are charging back in the last couple of years. In America, they call it Fink. You know, like Bobby Fink is charging back. And you know, but that's ridiculous. That's different to what you do. You back off it, he's charging back. But I just thought it was interesting how the 400 free is, you know, it used to be the Kieran Perkins and Ian Thorpes going out and holding on and charging, whereas others are being more deliberate about the 400 free and changing the way the 400 free is being swum. Who is guiding you in this strategy? Your coach, and if so, what did he get this? Not, you know, where did he get this confidence? Is it good for you, or is it good for the sport and you adapt to it? Like, is it good for Matt Sates to swim this way, or is it good for the 400 free and let's learn to swim it so we can conquer and go 339 one day? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I would say you definitely have to play to the strengths, improve the strengths, or stick to maybe improve your weaknesses. I definitely need to do go out harder. That's the thing. Like in the 500 free, I should have gone out harder, at least 2 seconds or something. But yeah, I don't actually know. Yeah, I guess I'm still doing trial and error.
Yeah.
I'm still seeing what works for me. So I am gonna try some different things, or over the next year, I would say, to see what really works for me, to see what's there. So yeah, I guess I'm on the trial and error phase.
What about Chad's 200 free from, I think it was the Olympics last year, or I don't know. I'm just remembering a race where Chad went out like crazy fast in a 200 free. And he's done for going out fast and hard. Have you had any conversations with him about him trying to get you to go out fast, or having some of that like secret sauce to the takeout speed?
Yeah, no, definitely. We got it, especially in the 200 free. The 200 free is getting raced like really differently now.
Yeah.
It's all about, you have to be turning under 50 now, 50 low.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. So, yeah, but Chad did that and he won the Olympics.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it definitely, that's definitely the way to race the 200 free now, I would say.
You have that ability to go. I mean, you're a 48 freestyler, right? And you know, and that's not even the focus event for you. So that's got to give you confidence to say like, okay, I have the speed to go. That's not the race that I focus on, but like you said, I know I have the backhand. So I don't know. I know you're playing at Coy, but now I'm really excited to see what your race strategy is come Commonwealth, because you're healthy, and I feel like maybe you're just going to throw one out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Do you need a field to swim fast, or you don't need a field? You can do it in an empty pool. Like, do you like this, like, hammer it down? Do you need a field to take you and go after it?
No.
No.
I'll yeah, I can do it by myself.
Could you race me and still set like your best time?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
I do think so.
Yeah, you know, so for sure.
No, I'm saying that some people need the field.
Yeah. I think I might actually work better with no field.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Good. To do a best time.
It doesn't matter what side you breathe on and where anybody is. Like, do you like outside lanes? Doesn't matter. You don't care.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lane's a lane. Right,
yeah.
I want to go ahead, Brian. Go.
Well, no, I was just going to ask you about like professional life, right? So, you know, here you are working on what program is going to fit for you. But like, we've also had ISL make a big impact in the sport in the last few years. Obviously, kind of in a weird spot right now. I don't know if it'll come back. Are you thinking about anything in terms of kind of what sort of meets you'd want to get involved in? If ISL does come back, is that something that you would do?
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know. I guess it depends. I'm on the FINA board now also, so I'm gonna try or put in my efforts to make FINA the best as possible. So maybe FINA gets so big that ISL just gets taken away completely, or But my goal is to do as much as possible. I'm on a professional schedule now, so any event that does for professional athletes, I'll join. I'll just try and do it.
I like the fact that you're on the FINA board. It reminds me, so because a new committee just got voted, and Ncaa is one of the co-chairs, which is great. You know, you're on it. Dylan's on it. The number of athletes. What's the importance of having that representation? You know, you're an African swimmer, having that representation on for FINA. What's your passion? Why do you care? It's commendable at your age. Why do you care to be on and make a difference in our sport at where you can make a difference in that level?
I think it's really good that I'm starting my professional career and I'm also on the board of it. So when I'm growing in my career, I can also try and grow the board, I would say. So I guess it could kind of benefit me the most, I would say.
What do you think then are some of the biggest opportunities for betterment, improvement, creation of, you know, commercial opportunities, professionalism? What's on your mind for how to improve the sport in those ways?
I guess to have more meets, I'd say, because there's only like Worlds and Olympics really that are the kind of the big meets. To have like one a year, so it would be nice to have more, but obviously if you have more, it dilutes it. So you just have to find that sweet spot, I guess. But yeah, the FINA World Cup series is really cool. It'd be nice to have like maybe 2 a year or something. That would be cool. To have like one in Asia and then one in America, or kind of like that.
Being an athlete representative, FINA doesn't have a great history of athlete partnership and or profit sharing, and so I'm curious how it works now, because I don't know what it's like to be on the board, and so I'm curious, kind of like, what's your experience been like thus far, and also, do you feel like you've got visibility of the business aspect of FINA because like you can bring up, okay, we should have more meets, but if you're on FINA side, they're looking at the ISL and the coverage being dropped, or like the ratings for Worlds in the US. I think NBC was carrying the coverage and only got a pretty small amount of eyeballs watching the swimming.
For that,
it's like,
yeah.
So it's like this is the challenge, right? Is like we want to create opportunities, but there's also a financial component to it that we haven't exactly got figured out. Is there that kind of transparency with FINA and your position on the board, or is it, kind of what's been your experience thus far, and what is your involvement really like?
We only really had one meeting, so I wouldn't know much about it, but I think it's more everybody must try and like work out a solution to a problem, or like I can like maybe do a little bit of a project, and that will help the project happen. So I think it's more along those lines. Then I wouldn't think I look at the financial side now.
Yeah. I just wonder, I wouldn't expect them to be fully transparent, but in a way I would think that, if we really want to grow the sport together, and it does seem like there's been some great moves with, prominent, successful athletes who are in leadership positions, bringing their experience and also having an equal voice to be able to raise topics that are of relevant concern to the athlete, group, and bring those to FINA. So I guess I was just wondering if you got a lens of that. Maybe it's too soon, but I'd be curious in the future to know, if that's how the dynamic happens, so that it's not just FINA coming to the athletes and asking, can you help us? What is your perspective? Help us solve this issue. But it's both ways, and that the athletes together can say, hey, this is a problem in our sport, or this is something that we want to solve, and how can we come together to help solve it?
Yeah, it's more the athletes saying, these are the problems, how can we do this?
Amazing.
I have a good topic, and I have an opinion of it, I guess. I'd like to know your opinions on the recently announced FINA B cuts for Paris. I come from a nation where we had to rely on, becoming an Olympian, you mainly got the B cuts. And the B cuts were tough, but they were not near the A cuts. Now the B cuts are very much on par with the A cuts.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
Crazy. Go ahead. I think the A cut for the 200 IM for 2020 was a 159.7. Now it's a 157.7. Like 2 seconds is a big time for a qualifying time.
It's a big time. I think it's a 146 for the 200 freestyle.
Yeah.
For B cut. Now, so what that does is that really shows you have much less nations that will be able to compete. Really, how many nations have a 146 200 freestyler, for instance, whereas they probably had decent swimmers who go 150? Or how many athletes like my buddy George Bovell, who went to Sydney in 2000, came 24th and 16th, and at the next games, with the experience he had built, got a bronze medal. Do you know what I mean? Like it gives you that opportunity to get that experience under your belt. From the nations that don't have the facilities and the coaching and stuff and need that exposure, go to the games. You go to Tokyo, you have the experience of the games underneath you. Would you have gone to Tokyo with these B cuts? Would you have qualified?
Yeah.
You would have, right? Okay.
Yeah, but especially for I don't know about you, but for South Africa, also not a lot of people are getting the A cuts.
Right.
So yeah, so they took the team that did the A cuts, but there was quite a few people that went based on not the A or B cuts, but just like they came first at nationals or they came first at events. So there was quite a few people that went because of that. And I would think they'll work with you also, your country also. Kind of like it doesn't really matter what the times are. They'll take the best athlete for the race. Is that a thing with you?
It is no. So if they don't have anybody making the A or the B cuts, you're allowed to send one athlete to go. Hence Eric Beal, Barney's, but it's not like that with us. It's different. And I know South Africa had a different way of qualifying. I remember hearing that history. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll have to take like a team of I want to say like somewhere around 20 or something. So if all the spots won't get filled, they're adding people here, people there.
Right.
I'm curious, since you brought it up, Matthew, the federation in South Africa it seems like, again, from the outside looking in, that the history of partnership and total financial support of like doing the best for the swimmers to compete at your best internationally, it seems like at times there's been conflict between some of the prominent swimmers. I'm thinking back to Roland and Lyndon Ferns and, some of those. Like, what's it like now? Do you feel like the athletes and the federation are on the same page? Do you feel like there's still opportunity to continue to like get the best out of the rich tradition of South African swimming?
No, not necessarily, but I think there's problems in everybody's federations, I would say, with funding and all of that. But like as I say, I've been traveling for like two and a bit months now. I was on the Mare Nostrum Worlds and now I'm here. But I've been paying for it all, like accommodation, all of that to go to Worlds or to drive to Commonwealth. I think Commonwealth we got like kits and obviously the accommodation's free here and kind of stuff, and they'll pay for the flight back. But yeah, nothing really helping the month to month kind of thing. I do know for the Fensu, this is the only thing I think I get, was because leading up to Paris 2024, our federation gave us $1,000 a month.
Okay, that's something that's got to start somewhere. And yeah, to your point, like
this is the first time it's happened also, so that is a big step in the.
We often rewarded when we've achieved, as opposed to the opposite. So once you get that medal, then they'll give you a stipend or money or rewards, as opposed to the opposite. And I understand funding is very different and resources are very different. I get it, but it is a lot harder too for getting supports. And so $1,000 does help, but still, that isn't good. Like you have to have some other support, your sponsor. I understand Turning Pro. I understand the ability for you to be able to travel and compete at the World Cup circuit. Otherwise, you wouldn't afford that. So there is no carding in Canada, which is a card, or in the US, making a US national team gives you some money. There's none of that in many countries. And in the UK, the lottery system was in place, and the training centers were set up at Loughborough and everywhere, and helped these athletes train. Africa doesn't have a training center, and you think of the athletes coming out of Africa right now, but I know FINA is trying, isn't it? They're trying to push African swimming. You want to talk more about that and the development of African swimming from Tunisia down to Kenya to Zimbabwe, everywhere?
Yeah, I think especially they also have like it's called Ncaa. So they do most of like the galas, but yeah, they are already pushing the developments of swimming, and it's very nice to see, especially like there's obviously lots of drownings and stuff. So even if we don't get Olympic swimmers out of Kenya, it doesn't really, as long as the lives are getting saved, is the most important thing. So that is a big thing.
But also the stigma is debunked completely that certain races, certain people, certain classes can't swim, and so it's important for representation. It's important to see somebody. I mean, be swimming at these levels. It was important that Coventry was able to do what she did, or Oos did, or what have you. So yeah, that's massive. By the way, guys, the qualifying time for the 5th day free B standard 22:0. I think 22:0 is like almost a second swim in Tokyo. It's not, I know, but it's close. It's crazy.
No, yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think it's no problem, really. 22:0 is no big deal.
The times are getting faster and faster.
That's the progression of sport. Yeah.
146.7 for the 200, 347 for the 400 for men. Those are a lot of second swims almost. They're not, but they're close. So anyway,
that's so crazy.
I guess that they take the times by the last person in the semifinals. Yeah.
Right. Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't have control over that though. Like whatever happens.
That's all.
Is that a hard line though, or do they kind of take some sort of average, like a weighted average of the speed of the field? I mean, it seems kind of weird if you have one person who's like the outlier, right?
And I thought I did hear the story about the last person's time is a new qualifying time or something like that.
Yeah.
And also because they're going to be more events. So it's now a 9-day schedule in Paris. Don't forget. So they're adding new events. So they're changing the schedule. So I think that it's not a numbers game and speed. Anyway.
Yeah. Matthew, we got a few rapid fire questions for you before we let you go.
Cool.
What's the hardest race in swimming?
4 a.m.
Olympic gold or world record?
Olympic gold.
Do you pee in the pool?
Classified.
So we were told there are two people who say they pee in the pool or people who don't admit that they pee in the pool, but they actually do.
Yeah.
So you're the third. Okay.
There might have been some pools that I might have peed in.
Accidentally.
Yeah. No, but it is a time management thing. You can't be missing sets to go to the bathroom. And it's a sign of weakness, to be honest. If I'm swimming with someone and they go to the toilet to have a pee or something, I already know that I can take them in the race. So I'll say it's a sign of weakness to have that little extra rest. It's all about the mental games, and I think you have to do what you have to do.
Have you trained with anyone recently who showed that sign of weakness?
No one in the pool.
Should South Africa have an ISL team, and if so, what would you call it?
Chad Ncaa and the what's it called? I don't actually know. Maybe the Lion Kings.
The Lion Kings.
I like that. I like the idea of like it's a band, like Chad Leclos and the Lions.
What's the name? What comes after that? Do you know what it is?
All right, talk to Chad and let us know what you guys want to make it.
Yeah. Real makes.
What's the okay? A lot of great moments in South African swimming history. So which among these is the greatest? Penny Haynes in '96, the 4x1 relay in Athens. You got Cam Vanderberg in London, Leclos beating Phelps in London, or Sates in a TBD swim at the Commonwealth Games.
No, I would say no, because I actually watched Chad's race live when I was younger. I was like, I think 7 years old, and no, it was a huge thing in South Africa, huge thing. So I actually watched that race live with my family, and we all gathered around the TV, and we watched it because my brother was in a school, so he was a Westville old boy, the same school as him. So yeah, that's how we knew. So I would say that one.
I want to press pause on the rapid fire. I just want to talk about that relationship with Chad and what that did for not just swimming in South Africa, but you personally, because I've got a chance to meet Chad in person, and I think he's the most gracious, kind, humble person I know. I've met in a while, and he's such a big personality and such a tough ass, as a swimmer. How's that been for you? That relationship now, you looked up to him, and now you're racing him, and you're competing for a spot in the relay. He's mentoring you, yet he's your rival. Do you know what I mean? How's that been with Chad?
I wouldn't say it's a rival. I would say, we all have our times. We all have our good races, we all have our bad races. But so it's pretty cool. Especially, as I say, I watched him when I was 7 years old, and now I'm training with him, and yeah, I'm honored to be friends with him and all of that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been really cool, and the way he approaches swimming, and especially he's done a lot in sports, a huge amount, especially for South Africa. He's a world record holder, all of that. So to be able to see what he does and how he does it, and what got him here, his mentality to be here, all of that, it's a good representation to have as an athlete, to know that this is the standard almost, or he's especially becoming a professional swimmer now. He's been a professional since he was 17 or 18. So just to see, like, I'm starting, he's still going. So to have that to look up to see what he's doing, it's a really cool thing to have. I'd say, instead of looking at the unknown.
Totally.
Has he convinced you to wear your goggles around your neck on the pool deck?
That's his thing. We yeah.
He owns it. I love it. He's owned it.
Yeah. The close signature. I love it. Who's the greatest African swimmer of all time?
African. Oh, Bichat. No. I think there's another person that's got more Olympic medals, though. But I don't know.
There's Coventry, Malui.
Yep.
But Penny Haynes is really good.
Haynes,
I think one period of time, Penny Haynes got like something crazy, like something like 10 world records in 3 weeks or something like that. I don't know. But she did something crazy like that.
Yeah, with no goggles. Not even around her neck. No goggles. She said, screw it.
Yeah. The funny thing was, I think she signed a partnership deal to get like a certain amount of money when she breaks a world record, and it was quite a big amount. And then she got like 3 weeks.
Good for her.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, you should have. I don't know who negotiated those deals, but you should hire her agent.
I know.
Speaking of that, anybody who's supporting you that you want to recognize?
Yeah. Right now I'm sponsored by PT Lab, and they did a great job. They got some amazing products. I take their shake every day, and they support me. So that's always a shout out.
Do you have a suit sponsor? I mean, you're rocketing, and there's so many suits out there, and for different reasons. Like, do you have one? What's your consideration factors for getting a suit sponsor? It's so important. How fast you swim, to what goggles you wear, to what cap you wear. What's the important?
I think I got one right here.
Sponsor? Is it?
Big reveal.
Yeah. Oh, I think they actually gave me the wrong suits. Damn. I just looked at it now. They gave me the flex.
Woo.
Oh, you're going to reader.
Yeah. I was reading. But they gave me suits now. I asked for the Air 2 and I just opened it and they gave me the flex. So
you need different ones.
Yeah.
Why did you go over arena? That's not from the money side. I'm talking about the support, the suit, like the relationship. Why did you choose that over others?
It's actually a good story because when I wasn't young, but before the FINA World Cups or before I really came into the scene, I had like this book where I wrote down all my goals, and I actually put down arena international sponsorship.
Oh.
But I was in no place to get one. It was like a long-term goal. So, and it's pretty soon to happening. So I'm pretty stoked with having that opportunity with him.
What a massive accomplishment!
They're lucky to have you.
You've arrived.
Yeah.
It really is a special time when you take that step. So that's awesome, man. I'm sure there'll be plenty more to come. All right, we got to ask you, how often do you do social kick in practice?
I haven't actually lots, but I do with Chad and with Sunny. There is social kick that gets written into the set.
We knew we could count on Sunny for some social kick.
Yeah.
He's been on the show a few times. Chad's been once or twice, so it's good. Yeah, those are good social kickers, definitely.
Yeah. But Sunny actually writes in the set, social kick has to go slow, talk, like that kind of stuff. So,
he's such a fan of the show. I'm teasing him.
I love it. Yeah, we're a fan of Sunny too. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Matthew, thanks for hanging out with us. It's fun to get to chat about where you are in your journey, and we look forward to watching you tear it up at Commonwealth Games and also where you land full time in the run up to Paris. So thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this episode of Social Kick. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Goodbye, guys. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're enjoying Social Kick, tell your friends about it, and be sure to tell us what you liked by leaving a comment, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Social Kick,
And you can find all of our content on our website,